Right, Matt Allen, playwright of Stand and Deliver for Sock Buskin 2020, Dionysus Theatre.
Not having any external input because we can't go out much. You're not getting the variety of art and being able to go out into nature and getting that inspiration from going outside and meeting people and seeing them face to face. You can meet people over Zoom, but it's not the same. You get to see the view of themselves that they want to present. You do get to see a little bit into people's lives that you wouldn't normally see. People who you might only normally interact with professionally. You get to see a little bit into their houses, what kind of books they have behind them, whether they have any plants, all sorts of things that if you don't get to see normally into where they live, you just get to see them in a professional setting, then those things give you a bit more insight into people. People always think that they don't have enough time to do things, but during this period we've had the time, so we can't use that as an excuse if we haven't done the things that we wanted to do. If they could be done just in your own home, such as if there were things you wanted to read or things you wanted to write. So then it makes you question, what are the things that are stopping you doing what you'd like to do? Zoom is inherently something that can be comic, whereas normally people are able to work in a very sterile environment. They're able to put up PowerPoints, they're able to make sure they're dressed how they want to dress. Once you've got Zoom going inside people's houses, you suddenly get to have that clash between the private and the personal. And so in the play, it's sort of looking at those boundaries, what is somebody's private life and what's their professional life, and what happens when those two clash and when you suddenly find that there's been an intrusion between that boundary. It did offer some interesting things from writing a play that, as opposed to something that you're going to perform on a stage, because you've got the possibility of having things off stage that can still interact with the actors on stage. And so one aspect of the play that intrigued me was having the family of the actors be part of it, but not actually on stage, that they're able to interact with them. We, as the audience, don't actually hear them. We only see the reactions. And also in the case that you're interacting with the computer screen as well. So there are things that you can have the actors interacting with on the computer that the audience can't see as well. They can only see the reaction. And that intrigued me as well. I'm quite excited, really, because I think it means that it can be open to a wider audience than it would normally. If I've got something that I've done before, it's been on a stage in a particular venue, it may not be convenient for people to get to. It may not be possible for people in other countries to get to. But because it's going to be online, it means that there's a much bigger potential audience, and there's people that I can say, oh, come and have a look at this, who wouldn't normally be able to come and see. I mean, I think the impact is just major in terms of not being able to have that live audience in front of a piece of theatre or a performance. Theatre is something that we go to a lot, and my husband, and we've really missed that, the opportunity to go and see live performance. Even something that's live on Zoom doesn't have the immediacy of something that's live in front of you on a stage. I think comedy and tragedy they're closely linked in a way, that things that are comic are often also tragic at the same time. Just the absurdity of the world at the moment that we're in, the fact that, you know, everything's been turned upside down. There's a lot of comedy could come out of that, as well as and hopefully we can still laugh at it even while we're in the middle of it. I'm hoping that as we start to to come out of lockdown in Melbourne, and maybe we're starting to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that we can start to laugh about some of the things that we would have been crying about not that long ago. I think this is a unique opportunity to see theatre present in a different way. Hopefully you'll find something you recognise in what's in the play, something that you can relate to and is very relevant to how we've had to live in the last 6 months.